In this demo, we're going to explore how you can handle an incoming need from the business. So let's imagine a business leader has come to you and they say, I want our team to use the new performance check-in template. So there's this template that managers should use to have 15-minute check-ins with their direct reports, and people aren't using it. They want them to use it. And the request is, can you build an e-learning module for me? So it's the default mode that this business leader is going in. You work in L&D, and that's what they see you as doing, building e-learning modules. But you know that things can be slightly different. Things could be slightly better. Maybe an e-learning module is the right thing to do. Maybe something else is the right thing to do. Maybe a combination of things. So what we're going to do is see how we can work with Tilda and get them to work with Tilda to explore the best way to get the team to use the new performance check-in template. So I'm going to open up Tilda, and here we're going to start by defining this brief. So let's imagine that I am sending this business leader who's made this request to Tilda. I'm going to ask this person to work through the brief for me, and then together we'll build something. So get them into Tilda, send them to this link, and they're going to work through answering the questions, working with Tilda, building up this kind of foundation that we'll use to create the program afterwards. So I'm just going to go through answering these questions and filling in the current state, where we're at now, the desired state, where we want to get to, the theory of change, how we think we'll get from here to there, constraints and conditions, that's factors within the organization, people, what resources we have at hand, just the other things we need to know to be able to build a solid program. So I'm going to work through this now, and then I'll show you what you can do next. So managers aren't adopting the new monthly 15-minute check-in. We call it the M15. Most one-on-ones are still ad hoc. Primary stakeholders are people managers. They're the ones who are going to be running these things. What's the baseline behavior? How are they handling them today? As I said, it's ad hoc. Not using a template. What's the impact of not doing this? So I would say teams lose alignment, teams lose momentum, these issues surface too late, priorities drift, performance and engagement both suffer. So we're starting to build this up now. Who's the primary audience for the initiative? We are focusing solely on people managers. And what would success look like? So what I'm thinking is people managers schedule and run this M15 using the template by the last Friday of each month. And we use a tool called Lattice to help with this. So employees should add notes before that M15. So now we've moved on to desired state, where we're heading. I don't want to add employees as a target audience. Yeah, that's fine. We can just continue in here. What measurable outcomes or metrics will define success? So I've got some clear stats here that I've discussed with my team. Of 85% of managers complete this by the month's end. 70% of sessions log at least one action. And we do a little survey that analyzes the sentiment on the clarity of priorities. And that's gone up after this has been implemented. Now, what barriers might be preventing them from scheduling and conducting these sessions? Now, we've spoken to the managers and they're saying, I've got no time. I don't know what to ask. The tools are too high friction. There aren't leaders role modeling this for me. So Tilda's filled in the barriers there really clear, and we've got the enablers already. Now, are there any existing rhythms, routines, or events where the M15 check-ins could be embedded naturally? So what we do is we can run calendar holds, what would be great is a simple script, maybe a prompt for this kind of pre-work they're asking people to do, some nudges for managers, like a simple tracker so they can see who they've done, who they haven't done, who they're going to do. And it looks like we're almost there with the constraints. Let's finish this off. I've just got the insights, the time frame. Let's see if it's got any suggestions for resources. And the time investment is probably 15 mins prep and 15 mins delivery. Times, let's say we want them to do it with 5 people. Okay, so let's imagine then the business leader has completed the brief. We're happy with what they've put in. They're happy with what they put in. They've requested an e-learning. So the first thing we're going to do is build an e-learning. Let's tell Tilda that we just want a simple e-learning. And we're going to see how effective this is. Now, Tilda has something called the behavior change score, which essentially predicts the behavioral change impact of anything you have built. So my prediction is that our behavior change score is going to be fairly low, just as a standalone e-learning. And then we'll see what we can do to improve the project to make it more effective. So Tilda's going to apply that suggestion, build something that's decent. And yeah, we can see that is a 9 rating on the behavior change score, which out of 100 is not particularly good. So let's now ask Tilda what we could do to improve this. So there's a button here. I'm going to click Improve Initiative, and it's going to look at all the evidence of what makes effective behavior change and make some suggestions for how we can take this e-learning and make it much more effective. So Tilda here is suggesting some micro modules with a live Q&A, some leadership modeling videos with leaders modeling what a good check-in is. And then it's actually removing the e-learning course. So it's suggesting that you shouldn't do an e-learning, which is really interesting. So let's apply those. We've gone up from 9 to 21. I'm going to take another round on this actually and just see if we can make it even more embedded in the flow of work. Let's click Improve Initiative again. And if we're not quite getting what I want, I can just prompt it to see. So look, we've got an instant feedback tracker, a peer success sharing platform, calendar holds for M15 check-ins. So just really making sure that we're embedding this in their work and they're not having to do as much work to remind them. And look, we've really got the score up there, a plus 29 increase to 50. Let's apply all, and then the next piece of work will be to go into each of these initiatives, build them out, and make sure they work for me in my organization. So just in summary, that's a good way to use Tilda to challenge stakeholder requests and push back a little bit at some of the things that they are asking for that they might default to.